G'day and welcome to episode 150 of Wine Week.
It's another milestone, big 150. It's an important milestone, I think.
It certainly is. And as always, I'm Danny.
I'm Brad.
And look, this week we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to look at 4 monstrously big, beautiful wines that aren't exactly everyday bottles, but hey, when it's a huge celebration, you might want to splurge. So what are you going to kick us off with?
Yes, well, something that you might have to pay close to $150 for. It comes in recommended retail about $129, $130 thereabouts. This is the Penfolds Yattarna. Now, for those in the know, this is referred to as the White Grange, because Penfolds set about trialling out to see if they could produce a wine made from Chardonnay grapes that could rival the Great Grange in terms of longevity, complexity of flavour, and really build something that could age well. For an Australian wine, it's been a challenge for sort of Chardonnay growers and many other white wine growers to build a wine that could go for decades and decades. So they did a number of trials, apparently 144, because that's the bin number on this thing, and they came out with this. And look, the proof has shown that this has aged well. They haven't been making it for that long, so it's still, yet to see whether it can go, say, 20 or 30 years. But Penfolds Yattarna, it is an exceptional Chardonnay, but it surely is one for special occasions because it is that other side of $100. So Penfolds Yattarna, if you've got the dollars, give it a try.
Yes. Now, speaking of having the dollars, we've looked at loads of Kalleske wines over the years, over the last 150 shows. We would have done a bunch of Troy and Tony's wines, but one that we haven't done the entire trip is the Johann Georg. Now, why? Well, because it's $100 odd. Now, we've talked about what great value the Kalleske range is, from the Pirathon that Troy has a fair hand in, all the way through to the Grange Creek Shiraz. This is a huge wine. At $100, it's possibly not as great value, but it's awesome drinking, especially if you love big, full-bodied, intense wines. This is jammy, and the vines in it planted 1875. Now that is remarkable anywhere in the world. We're talking about some of the oldest vines anywhere. Pre-phylloxera, a little bug that did a lot of damage through France and in some parts of Australia as well. But this beautiful, big, intense, licorice, leather, dark chocolate sort of thing. It is a big bottle. It is a big wine inside it. And if you've got $100, definitely have a go at that, because look, for me, I love that one.
Yeah, look, Johann Georg, they don't produce much of it, but it certainly packs a punch in the little ones that they do. Now, speaking of wines that aren't produced in great volume, this is one that is quite hard to get your hands on. This is one of the Wendouree wines. Now, the reason we haven't done really one of these on the show before is because they are extremely hard to get. They've got a mailing list. That's pretty much the only way you can buy these wines. They do make their way into bottle shops because people get on the mailing list and then they sell them in the bottle shops. If you're lucky enough to be on the mailing list, they are very reasonably priced for the wine that you get. They're up to about probably $50 a bottle these days. But if this was a bigger winery, perhaps owned by a big corporation, this wouldn't be selling for $50. This would be selling for $150. In bottle shops, you'll see them around the traps for about $100. Now, this is the particular one we've got here is the Shiraz-Malbec. Now, these vines date back to the late 1800s. And the Bradys who are in charge of this at the moment see themselves as the custodians of these grapes. They're just there to get the grapes from the vines into the bottle and give the great experience to the wine drinker. And in the Clare Valley, they are producing some of the most intense red wines going around. Now, as we said, it is hard to get, but if you can write them a letter, get on the waiting list for the mailing list, and then it's worth the wait. And look, if you're lucky enough to see it around at a tasting, just try it, because as James Halliday describes it, iron fist in a velvet glove is perhaps the best description for these sorts of wines. So Wendouree, amazing wines.
Yeah, they certainly are. And speaking of kind of waiting to get on the mailing list, once you get a bottle, wait to open it up. Don't open it the day you get it, because my God, this is a wine that at 10 years of age will still taste like a baby. They are built massively for the long haul. Brilliant, but not for today's drinking if it's an 06 like this. Last wine we're going to have a look at, another wine that we haven't done on the show. This is the Clonakilla Shiraz-Viognier. Now, a fair while ago when these first hit the market, they were just called the Shiraz. They didn't really talk about that 5% of Viognier that was splashed in there, co-fermented up. Look, this is a gorgeous wine, and once again, it's a wine that's not inexpensive, but at $85, when you look at the kind of company it's keeping, that's actually really good value. Now, I think it's about 10 years ago I first started to see these on the marketplace at under $50. Now, if you can find about an 8-year-old one of these on an internet wine auction, you won't get it for under $100. Not a chance in hell. If you can get it for under $150, you'll be doing well. 85 today. It's a sort of wine that drinks really well now, drinks extraordinarily well in the next 5 to 10 years. This is a stunning wine. It's got so much of that kind of standard Shiraz pepperiness, big fruit in there, but the Viognier just makes it so supple, so smooth in the mouth, and goes down just incredibly well that $85 actually feels like a bargain for this wine. And look, over the next 5 years, the prices on this will continue to climb year after year. You watch it. It was 75 2 years ago. It's 85 now. Next year, if they have a good vintage, it's going to be well over 100. So hook into it now while you can. The Clonakilla Shiraz-Viognier, one of Australia's best wines, hands down.
Yeah, and look, it really probably was one of the wines that brought the Shiraz-Viognier phenomenon out into the mainstream, and look, it's just gone from strength to strength.
Yeah, look, the run rig over at Torbreck, $200 odd a bottle, same style, same sort of thing. That's why we say the Clonakilla is actually probably undervalued, even now at $85 a bottle. Anyhow, that's it for 150.
Big show. Lots of wine, lots of dollars, but look, if you can afford any of these, then splurge and have a go.
Yeah, and we're going to go and open up a couple of them right now to celebrate. So we'll see you all next week after we've been really happy.
See you next week.